So, what do you want, a speech or an experience? Speech or an experience? Come on, shout it out. Experience. For this to be an experience, I'll need your participation. So I'll deliberately leave sentences half incomplete so you can fill in. I will invite you to have peer-to-peer interaction so you can talk among yourselves. But we'll need a little rule, and the rule is this. When I say, can I have your attention, please? I want you to raise your right hand up at the same time. Can I have your attention, please? And when you will do that, you will stop talking and you will give me your 100% attention. Is that a deal? Yes? That way I can take you through a lot of activities and not lose track of the precious time we have here together. So, change makers from so many different countries, people here with one single mission. Not that the world is broken. I think that would be a very depressing, very pessimistic statement, that the world is broken and we are here to fix it. No, we've gathered here because we believe that there is always margin for growth. What do we believe in? That there is always margin for growth. Let's do this simple experiment. Put your right hand up in the air as high as you can, change makers. Is this your best? Come on, as high as you can. Is this your best? She just said in the introduction, you don't need permission to lead. Can you go higher? Excellent, thank you. Can you still go higher? Thank you very much. Look at that, thank you. That's what we needed. That's what we needed, right? Now, in doing so, can a lot of things go wrong, yes or no? He could trip, he could fall, embarrass himself, and forever be remembered as the guy who fell from his chair at the opening of the conference, right? There's always a risk, right? But you gotta push the boundaries, okay? Right? And this is very important to remember, we're not here because the world is broken. We are here because we believe that there is always margin for growth. Shake someone's hand once again and remind them there is always margin for growth. Say it now, please. There is always margin for growth. See, many of you stopped here, right? Somewhere here. And you have the ability, can I have your attention, please? You have the ability, the potential to go from here to here, yes or no? You did, right? And that was hidden potential. And that's the gap that I'm talking about. Change the world, if you have an idea that can change the world, or just cover this gap. And you would change the world by virtue of just covering this gap. Who am I? Where am I stopping today? Where do I have the potential of going? And when you live your dream, the famous American theologist Howard Thurman, he said, what the world needs, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive. Ask what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And we need to do that before the chips come alive. There's a whole lot of research going in the tech circles about when will we achieve artificial general intelligence? Raise your hands if you're familiar with that, right? Which means, in other words, when will the chips become smarter than human beings? Are we really waiting for that to happen in order to have a better world, for the chips to become smarter than us? I mean, what's wrong with human intelligence? Turn to your partner, say, hello, partner. Say, hello, partner. Partner, what's wrong with human intelligence? Ask the person. It's got to be something wrong. What was wrong with good old-fashioned human intelligence that we need artificial intelligence that is better than us? You must lead the world because ChatGPT cannot do it yet. And that is why it must be you. I know ChatGPT can do a lot of things, including writing interesting speeches. This speech, by the way, has not been written by ChatGPT, just a little disclaimer. But if I wanted to, I could very well go to ChatGPT. So it's not about ideas anymore, my friends. It's about taking action. It's not about aha moments anymore. You know, how many of you have ideas in the shower? Raise your hands, please. Right. We should all have a little whiteboard in the shower, right? Putting up new ideas there. The founder of Atari video games, he said, it's not the person who has the ideas in the shower that changes the world. It's a person who dries off, comes outside, and does something about those ideas. Those are the people who change the world. It's not about ideas anymore. It's about execution. And that is why we need you to do what? 1, 2, 3. Let's read it out. Louder, please. We need you to do what? And how many of you seen the movie Gladiator? Raise your hands, please. Do you remember the conversation between Emperor Marcus Aurelius and what was Russell Crowe's character named? Maximus. And he says in his husky voice, "That is why it must be you. It must be you, Maximus." And this is what I want you to say to the person sitting next to you. It must be you. Say it now, please. It must be you, right? It must be you because you don't come with big baggage. Now, of course, you come with baggage. You've all taken flights to be here in Kuala Lumpur, yes? But not the mental baggage, not the sort of baggage that says you can't do it or it hasn't been done before, right? You don't have that baggage, and that is what makes you special. You don't have the baggage, but you have the big, bold ideas. And that's what we need in order to do what? Let's read it out. Lead the change. Did you notice we didn't call this interaction manage the change? The title of today's gathering is not manage the change. It is called what? Lead the change. Do you recognize the difference between these two terms? Why not manage the change? Why lead it? Think about that for a second. We need managers. We love management. We love the whole process of managing things. Because if you're just managing change, yes, then we are just reacting to what is already happening to us. If we are leading change, we're setting the tone. We're taking risks, just like that young person here took by standing on the chair. We're raising the bar for others to follow. And therefore, change must be led if we are to create a better world, not just managed. Management is maintenance. Management is what? I don't hear you. Maintenance. Leadership is shaking things up. It's taking initiatives. It's doing something new. It's introducing new, big, bold ideas. And that often come from young people. There was this little story about a girl who asked her mother, "Mother, every time you cook fish, why do you chop off the head and the tail?" Said, "I don't know, ask your grandmother. She used to cook fish that way, so I started doing it the same way." Said, "Okay, fine." Goes to grandma. "Grandma, in our family, why do always we cook the fish this way? Chop off the head and the tail." "I don't know." "It's your great-grandmother. She used to cook fish this way, and that's how I started doing it." "Okay." So young people are relentless with their curiosity, yes or no? There's a phrase that goes, "Curiosity killed the cat." The cat was framed on wrong charges. Let us settle it for once and for all. It was ignorance that killed the cat, not curiosity. She goes to grandmother and says, "Grandma, why do we cook fish this way every single time? Chop off the head and the tail." Said, "Oh, because we were poor immigrants when we came to this country, my granddaughter, and I only had a small frying pan. So every time I just chop off the head and the tail so it could fit in the pan." And what was a necessity back then became a tradition until somebody questioned it, right? And that's what big, bold ideas and big, bold questions do. They help us lead the change. Like some person here who said, stay with me, change can be of two categories. How many? I don't hear you. Two. It could be incremental or exponential. If it's a 10% improvement, it would be what? If I improve something by 10%, would it be incremental or exponential? Incremental. And management will help me get those results. If I'm just managing things, I can only push incremental change. But exponential changes when you get 10x. Something is better 10 times, not just 10%. In Google, they call these sort of thoughts, they call it moonshots. What is this? Moonshots. An idea so outlandish, an idea so big that people actually laugh at you. Do you know when people laugh at your ideas? How many of you've had this? Somebody laughing at your idea. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. That means you're doing something extraordinary, and it's good for the mental, emotional health of other people. If they are laughing at your ideas, right? But for ideas to be exponential, now stay with me, this is how fundraising used to be back in the day, yes or no? A tin box with the title on it which said, donate. Somebody come in and said, let's improve it a little bit more, take it from here to here. Let's put in a transparent box so people can see the money inside and they'll donate more money. And donations improved by 10 to 15%. What is this sort of improvement? I don't hear you. Incremental. It's not exponential yet. What are we doing? Managing or leading? We are managing. We're using the same structure and we are improving it a little bit until some young, bold person decided to lead the change and say, hey, why don't we get rid of the boxes altogether? Let's start a social media movement in which people will pour buckets of ice on themselves and we will raise money. Raise your hands if you're familiar with the Ice Bucket Challenge. Raised more than $200 million until it had to be stopped because ALS Society of America didn't know what to do with the extra money. They had to stop it. And all it took, my friends, was leadership, was courage, creativity, new ideas, and cold water, and connections in order to do something exponentially great. And that is the power of new ideas. That is the power of thinking of something so big that people actually laugh at you. People would have laughed at the person who proposed this idea. It's like, donate money by throwing ice water. And this is what folks like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and all the people in the world were doing this, pouring buckets of ice on themselves to raise money. This is the power of thinking differently. Once again, deep breath in. Say hello, partner. Say hello, partner. Partner, learn to think differently. Say it now, please. Learn to do things differently. Right. Repeat after me, please. Change is possible through three things. Your head. Point to your head. Head. Say it out after me, please. Head, heart, and hands. Let's do it once again. Your head, your heart, and your hands. But where does it start? As you'll get to know, it starts with your heart, with something that hurts you, with something you notice, a social injustice, you don't like it. And you know, the whole history of humankind, my friends, is the history of embracing change. The whole entire history of humankind, if we did not embrace change, if nobody would have led change, we would still be living in caves, yes or no? For us to move into the times we're living in, every moment somebody said, aha, there's something better we can do. Aha, there's more margin for growth. In fact, my own life, I feel I was living in a cave. Not a literal cave. I mean, I went to school in Sydney, Australia. How many Australians here? Raise your hands. Woohoo! And that was a long time back, 1999, 2000, Sydney Olympics. I was a young international student there. Had a great time in Sydney, Australia. That's where I did my college degree from. And then my first job was in Arizona, United States, Scottsdale. Folks from United States, raise your hands if you are from the US. But I worked there for a year. And then I worked in the UK for 4 years, in Dubai for a year, until I felt that I'm living in a cave. It wasn't a cave. You know, the Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert, folks from Africa, raise your hands, please. Yeah? The Bushmen in the Kalahari Desert, they talk about something called the big hunger. Have you heard about it? The small hunger you fed in the morning, out at the break. They say the big hunger is the hunger for meaning and purpose. Is to do something not just for yourself, but for others. So at 28, 29, my friends, I had everything that I needed for myself. You know, more than what I needed. And that's when the big hunger started calling me. There's gotta be more. You can do more. My life changed in a seminar like this when I was taking my coaching certification in London, when one of the instructors said, "What are you very good at?" Hello? What was the question? What are you very good at your current job? What do you enjoy the most in your current role? And how can you make it into a profession? So my young friends, I did not sleep one night as a hotel manager and woke up the next morning as a coach and a speaker. It didn't happen like that. It has taken me 18 years to rebuild my life, piece by piece, but in harmony with my values, with my vision. In 2007, I left the UK, which was my last country of residence, moved back to India to start all over again. Have you watched the movie Benjamin Button? The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, where he's reverse aging. Brad Pitt is reverse aging. And there's a part in which he says, I wish you lead a life that you are proud of. And if you realize that you are not, I hope you have the courage to start all over again. 2007, my friends, I started all over again. I had zero connections. I did not have an MBA degree. I did not have any clients at that moment. I went back not to the metros in India, not Delhi, not Mumbai, not Hyderabad. Folks from India here, raise your hands, please. Right, I did not go to one of those cities, but I went back to my hometown, which is a small city, a tier 2 city in Punjab. It's called Jalandhar. It's a small city. I moved back there, and today I serve more than 30 countries. I've spoken to and consulted and coached with more than 400 of the leading companies in the world, all from my hometown, right? Trying to demonstrate the fact that location is irrelevant. It doesn't matter where you live in this digital connected world. If you have the vision to do something, you can orient your life towards it, no matter where you are. We also run a very popular YouTube channel, The Spirit of Giving Back. 7 years ago, we thought, why just keep this information to conference rooms and to coaching sessions? So I went to my local university. I said, can you gather maybe 50 of your best students? How many of you will count yourselves among the top 50 in your class? Raise your hands, please. Yeah, okay. Well, I was from the one which made the top half possible. I was from the bottom half. But I said, give me your 50 best students, and we'll do a Q&A session with them. So we did a Q&A session with them, and we put it online. We recorded it. One of the videos was a very simple question. Sir, how do I improve my communication skills? Okay? Regular question. Guess how many views that video has till date? 20 million views and counting. The answer to a simple question, how do I improve my communication skills? It was our aha moment. That there's so many young people out there whose needs are not being met by the formal education system, that we need to do something. After that, we create a lot more videos and a whole lot of online university sort of things that people could learn and orient their lives, tools to make it possible. So that is my story. And I hope by the time I finish today, this one thing can be clear. Can we read it out together, please? 1, 2, 3, let's go. Change is inevitable. Direction is a choice. Change is going to happen whether you like it or not. 5 years from now, you'll be a different person than who you are today, whether you like it or not. The moment you took off from your airport, whether it was Delhi or Dhaka or Sydney or Melbourne or Hong Kong or Korea or wherever you're coming from, or London, change started happening the moment you took off. Yes or no? Some of you are not sure. Yes. But where you landed, that depended upon what? The words on the screen. The direction that the captain set for the plane. Once again, say hello, partner, to the person sitting next to you. And remind them, you are the captain of your ship. Say it now, please. You are the captain of your ship. Remember Harry Potter? How many of you are Harry Potter fans here? Yeah. Remember the conversation he has with Dumbledore when he realizes he could have been in, he was saying the sorting hat was right after all. I could have been in Slytherin, right? But I ended up in Gryffindor, to which I think is the same guy who plays Marcus Aurelius. Harry, it's not our abilities, it's our choices that make us who we are. Choices, Harry, choices. So once again, say hello to your partner. Hello, partner. And remind them, choices, Harry, choices. Say it now, please. This did not happen automatically for me. This was a conscious, the word is what? Choice. Once you make a choice, you take on a new direction, now you're leading change. Now change is becoming more something that is within your control, okay? You put a rock outside, and what will happen to the rock after hundreds of years, or 500 years, or 600 years, if water is hitting it continuously? It will cause the erosion from the sides, and it'll probably be a a round sort of shape instead of the edgy thing. But if you control the flow of water, and that's how they used to build temples in ancient India, they would take a huge slab of rock and they will control the flow of water where the water will hit it continuously and the rock will break. And that's how they used to cut big pieces of rock. Because change is inevitable and direction is a choice. You go to the gym and you play on Instagram all the time, you're not going to build any muscle, yes or no? You can't blame the gym, can't blame the trainer, can't blame the economy. You got to blame yourself that you don't have a conscious choice of how you should be spending your time. And that's the top thing that change makers have in their mind. So I've spoken a lot about why it should be you who has to lead change. Why do we need change at all? Because if we don't change, we'll still be stuck with the status quo. And the status quo, how things are, is not perfect right now. Do you agree with that? There are 100 things that we must be tackling. Inequality, global hunger, the SDGs, right? So many things, right? So you must be thinking, what should I change? What should I choose? And you know what happens when the list is too long? We never start. What happens when you go to Netflix and there's like 100 options available? You struggle, what should I watch today? And you go back to watching the same thing that you watched earlier, right? It is called decision fatigue. What's it called? Decision fatigue. I have so many choices that I cannot really decide what should I do. So I would rather not start at all. How many of you said make New Year resolutions 31st December? Raise your hands, please. You make a New Year resolution. Yeah, what happens to that by the 10th of January? Because it's too much, you're trying to achieve so much in so little time, you give up. You go back to old habits, right? Decision fatigue. Ever had a headache while shopping in a shopping mall where you did not know what you actually wanted? And so you're walking from shop to shop and you're thinking, should I buy it? Do I really need it? How much will it be? And all those decisions, it's putting that extra pressure on your brain and you end up with a headache. And that's why they put the Big Mac right next to these places. So you can have those calories, the sugar rush, and you can go back to shopping again. The Big Mac will not fulfill your big hunger. Repeat after me, please. The Big Mac is not going to fulfill my big hunger. My big hunger is something deeper. And you can pick something small or something big. But start with, once again, louder please, start with what hurts you the most. Because now it's personal. And for person A, it could be different for person B, because it's personal of what you witnessed. The injustices, you saw something firsthand. It's intrinsic. When you start with something that you personally, that hurt you, you will not wait for applause. You will not wait for appreciation or awards or money. It's a personal journey. It says start with what hurts you the most. It's reflection that gives us direction. To sit down with a pen and paper and ask the simple question, who am I? What should I start doing that I'm not currently doing? What should I stop doing that is harming me, that is damaging me? What should I continue doing? What are my strengths? What am I good at? It is reflection that gives direction. So it could be something small as that, or something deep and profound, or a tragic incident like this one. When you get time, just watch the movie The Mountain Man of India. His wife slipped from this mountain and died. She was bringing him lunch because he used to work on the other side of this mountain. And he said, after she died, he turned his grief into his purpose. One man, 22 years, only a hammer and a chisel, and he cut a pathway through this mountain, reduced the distance of the nearest hospital from 70 kilometers to 1 kilometer, and is called the Mountain Man of India. Devoted 22 years of his life. People used to laugh at him. How can you do it with a hammer and a chisel? And you know what leadership is? Once he started, people started helping him too. That's how this whole movement started. One of his quotes from the movie is, don't depend on God only, because maybe God is depending on you to do the things that are important. So it could be something as simple as building a camera that takes a selfie, or bringing down a mountain because it hurt him the most. Whatever matters to you. Do you know this guy? He created a software that has kept all of us very busy. It's not Facebook, he's not Mark Zuckerberg. It's WhatsApp, guys, WhatsApp. Jan Koum, the founder of WhatsApp, a Ukrainian immigrant at 16, Jan and his mother moved to the United States. He was working as a janitor in a convenience store, and calling his dad home every day was very expensive, and it was hurting him a lot. Ask the right questions. It was hurting him a lot. So in the evenings, he started coding and built a software which we now know as WhatsApp, acquired by Facebook for $19 billion. And it's kept all of us busy over the years. Change does not mean you all have to give up your careers or your jobs. You can build for-profit companies also. Hello? You could build profit is not against purpose. You could build for-profit companies also and change the world, do both at the same time. Do you know this lady right here? Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on the bus during this segregation in the United States and started the Montgomery bus boycott. And later, even Martin Luther King Jr. acknowledged her role in catalyzing the whole civil rights movement. She was tired. Not just tired of work, but also tired of giving up. She stood that day, seated in her seat. She remained seated, not to start a movement, but to stand up for her dignity. And it had a catalytic effect on so many others. Start with what hurts you the most. Whatever you've been through personally, it could be as simple as changing the way we shop for furniture, making life difficult for all of us. Ingvar Kamprad, any Scandinavians in the house? Raise your hands, please, right? But Ingvar, what he thought is, what a horrible way to transport a table. He saw drivers chopping off the legs of the tables, and he asked the right question. How can we make better tables so it's easier to carry them home? This is also change, yes or no? Some of you are not sure. Yes, you can fight for green energy and climate change, or you can help your friend with anxiety. You're still changing the world. And he did, changing the world of furniture. How we shop could be small, could be big, could be non-profit, could be for-profit. But change something, please. Change the world, change yourself. But don't just be bystanders. Have you heard of the term called the bystander syndrome? Yep, raise your hand, say yes if you heard about it. What happens when an accident on the road happens and 50 people have gathered there? They all are bystanders. Everybody is waiting for somebody else to take action. And because there's so many people, they say, I don't need to bother about this. Somebody else will do something about it. And therefore, change never happens, right? Do you know this gentleman? Of course you do. 1873 or 1883, he had a first-class ticket. He had a first-class suit. He did not have the skin color which the train conductor thought was first class. So he was thrown out of that train. He was traveling from Durban to Pretoria in South Africa. Any South Africans in the house? Raise your hands, please. And I think it was at Pietermaritzburg where Mr. Gandhi was thrown on the platform, and he was full of anger and rage. 1893, I'm not too sure, it's around about that. This incident happened. India became independent in 1947. For 50 plus long years, he was holding this rage inside and channeling into non-violence. And I think if I go to South Africa back again, Mr. Mandela as well, non-violent struggle. And once again, say please, repeat after me, change begins with my head and my heart and my hands. And you know what Mr. Mandela said? He said a good head and a good heart are a formidable combination. That's what he said. And I believe in that too. And non-violent. And Gandhi started this whole movement across the world. He could have been violent, aggressive if he wanted to, and there would be bloodshed. But he taught the world a new way of resisting. It started with how he was hurt the most. Am I making that clear sufficiently? Yes or no? Start with what hurts you the most, what you've seen as a child or growing up or even right now. Channel that into something. So you could change the world, make exponential change. We would love that. You can follow this simple model. It's called, let's read it out together, please. Spark, speak, start, sustain, and scale. Build it up, give it to the rest of the world. You could do this if you have a big earth-shattering, an idea that can change the future of humanity. Please, by all means, we need that. But if you're thinking, Simerjeet, but wait, I'm already struggling with reducing my screen time. I can change the world, but I have difficulty getting out of bed in the morning. This one is for you. Listen to the wisdom of the ancient Sufi philosopher Jalaluddin Rumi, who said, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. So for all the information that I presented to you looks far-fetched, oh, Simerjeet, those were big names, Rosa Parks, Mahatma Gandhi, Jan Koum, tech, and all these things. I'm just an undergrad student struggling with my screen time right now. This is for you. Start with yourself. Think about what this margin could be in your life. Because the best gift you can give to the world is you using your full potential. Imagine that for a moment. Because this, leading yourself, is the most overlooked aspect of leadership. I think it was Leo Tolstoy. Any Russians in the house? Raise your hands, please. Leo Tolstoy, the author, Russian philosopher, who said, everybody thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing themselves. Right? The most overlooked act of leadership is leading yourself. How to align your own life to your own strengths. If I rewind back to my story, to my own story here, one of the learning experiences I went through, they asked me, have you heard of the Gallup Strengths Finder test? Anyone here in this room? If not, go explore it, please. It could be really life-changing. The Gallup Strengths Finder test. I took the test. Number 1 out of the 5 strengths, it told me developer, that I'm very good at developing other people. And I was like, wow, exactly. This is what I learned I did in my job in hotels for 8 years. I would hire a waiter and I want to make him an assistant manager and a captain and a manager later on. I got so much joy out of that. I was a natural born developer. If you take tests like that, you'll get to know your inner strengths. And you become so powerful, my friends, if you align your life with your natural talents and your natural strengths, which you will discover, maybe not today, maybe not immediately, but if you make that your top priority, you will discover your natural strengths and talents. And so the most difficult thing to do would be leading yourself. Is the most overlooked act of leadership. We overlook it. Most of humanity is what? Can we read out the sentence at the top, please? Stuck in neutral. Say it louder, please. Humanity is stuck in neutral. The Gallup organization, again, has done a global survey to ask how many people at work are able to use their strengths. Can you take a guess? 1 in 5, my friends. 1 in 5 at the workplace says, I can fully utilize my strengths. They do another survey called engagement survey. What's it called? Engagement survey. Do people love their jobs or not? Less than 20% of people across the world reported they enjoy their jobs. That's the other pandemic. Boredom among young people. Raise your hands, please. If you find yourself in that position, bored, without a purpose, without a mission. Boredom is another one of those pandemics. Loneliness, especially in the Western world, is a huge challenge right now, is the other pandemic. Humanity is stuck in neutral. But every single one of you, we don't need the chips. We don't need artificial intelligence. We need you with your full spark, your full energy to say, here I am, this is what I do well, and I will gift it to the world. right? And that, my friends, my own transition. Imagine leaving your job that you've been in for 8 years. Imagine leaving, I have permanent residencies in the UK, in Canada, leaving that, moving back to India. Imagine not knowing what you're going to do. Imagine starting all over again once you've achieved everything and giving it up again. And that was my journey back in '07. But I can tell you today, I may not drive a fancy car, I may not live in a very fancy home, but I'm way happier than I ever was before. I'm more full of energy. I wake up in the morning. Sometimes my post-lunch speaker, and people are wondering, why is this speaker so excited while I'm falling asleep? It's because what Howard Thurman said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go and do that. And that is your work, to discover what lights you up. If engineering lights you up, gotta be the best engineer possible. If coding lights you up, we need that too. We need all your diverse. If writing, poetry, sports, athletics, medicine, whatever lights you up, be the best of that. It's about time I sum up my keynote, and I'd like to sum up it in 2 or 3 statements. Number 1, we need the managers. Trust me, we need them. If the hotel managers would disappear right now, there'd be chaos here. We need the managers, but we need more leaders. And that must come from you. Not just managers, because management is maintenance. Leadership is shaking things up, taking risks, coming up with something new. We need the bystanders. Not everybody can be a leader, but we also need the players. You can't just sit and watch. You got to roll your sleeves. Once again, your head and your heart and your hands, right? So we need the bystanders, we need the support, we need audiences, right? If everybody would be a speaker, who's going to listen? We need the bystanders, but we also need the players. And number 3, we need more people who would say, partners, start with yourself. Take a moment to sit down with yourself and write down the answers to these 3 questions. What should I start that I'm not already doing that will make me come alive? What should I start? Do you know having a simple morning routine? How many of you have a simple morning routine? You never miss it. You do it every single morning. Less than 10 people in this room. Do you know having a simple morning routine can put you in a way better mood, way better receptivity, way better state of mind than others? What should I start that I'm not currently doing? What should I stop? What should I stop where I'm self-sabotaging? Friend of mine, he has this statement. He says, most people have a PhD in self-sabotage. The moment you feel, I'm doing good. Why am I doing good? I don't even deserve it. Boom, self-sabotage. What should I stop doing? How do I harm myself? Is it extra screen time? I don't know. Check the screen time on your phones, please, right now, if you don't mind. Shout out the number, approximate, per day. Huh? How many hours? Do you know what the global average is? Between 4 to 5 hours, we are stuck, glued to whatever friend on the screen, to WhatsApp and Facebook and whatnot, right? So what should I start doing? What should I stop doing? And what should I continue doing? What am I really good at? What can I do so well that nobody else can do? That's where your strength is. So I hope I've given you some food for thought, as well as some of the inspiration from what other people achieved, and also from my own life story. You guys have been a wonderful audience. I thank you so very much for your time here this morning. Thank you. Thank you.